So we have heard of the history of Afcon. We have seen the stadiums where the action shall be taking place. We have seen the cast in terms of the teams that will be taking place in the Africa Cup of Nations 2023. Now it's time to drop my predictions. I'll be honest, this one is really hard to call. Honestly, it's hard. We have top teams everywhere. Let me first give my top 2 predictions per group. To make my work a bit easier. So Group A, where you have Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau, and Equatorial Guinea. I think for me to be Ivory Coast and Nigeria. All right, I picked Nigeria to be top. In Group B, we have Egypt, Ghana, Cape Verde, Mozambique. I think I'll go for Egypt and Ghana. Egypt being the top team. Group C, we have Senegal, Cameroon, Guinea, and Gambia. I'll give Senegal and Cameroon to come out on top. Wait, Cameroon wako na nani? Yo, Cameroon and Guinea. It's not easy to call. In Group D, we have Algeria, Burkina Faso, Mauritania, and Angola. I would go with Algeria and Burkina Faso to come out on top. In Group E, we have Tunisia, Mali, South Africa, Namibia, Tunisia, and Mali to come out on top. In Group F, we have Morocco, DR Congo, Zambia, and Tanzania. I'll go with the DR Congo and Morocco to come out as the top 2 teams. So it's quite hard to call this one, yeah? Those are my top 2 teams, know the groups, right? But the eventual ones, the proper favorites, I think for me are not easy to call. Because first of all, you have Morocco. After what they did in the World Cup in Qatar, they have to be the favorites. Then of course you can never rule out the defending champions. You know, Senegal. You can never rule out the most successful team in Africa. I'm talking Egypt. You can never really rule out Nigeria. They have a plethora of talent, top-notch talent. So it's really not easy to call on this one. But like I said, let me first of all say I'm rooting for Nigeria. First things first, I'm rooting for Nigeria moving forward. Sawa, done, dusted. I don't think Ivory Coast, even though they are the hosts, I don't feel like they have a lot of talent. But I mean, being their host, you'll get a lot of support. So I would not be surprised if they go all the way to the finals or maybe even the semis. Ghana, I don't fancy them much, to be honest. I think there are more teams which have a better prospect. I mean, they have Kina Mohamed Kudus. They played quite well in the World Cup. I fancy them to get maybe to the semis and then get knocked out. Yeah. It's really hard to call. I think for me, it's a proper shootout between Morocco, Senegal, and Nigeria. I think a final of Nigeria and Morocco would really slap. Yeah, would really slap. I think, for me, I feel like those are the 2 topmost teams in Africa right now. I mean, we have Egypt, you have Senegal. You can't rule them out, but I fancy Morocco and Nigeria to get to the finals. And if we get to that, I'll be supporting Nigeria, like I said. So I fancy Nigeria to come out on top with this one. They have a lot of talent everywhere in the midfield, defense, attacking-wise. But of course, Atlas Lions, after what they did in Qatar, they are among the favorites, in my opinion. Teams like Ivory Coast, I don't fancy them to go as far as to the finals. Maybe just because of the support. Because as far as talent is concerned, I think there are more talented teams than that. Ghana, like I said, I don't fancy them much. Cameroon, Senegal, maybe because, you know, they still have the same talent that played in the 2021 tournament and won it. So they might get themselves into the semis, maybe. Tunisia, Mali, I don't fancy them much. I think the dark horses for me for this one would be DR Congo and Mali. Mali, there's always something about Mali, you know, when they play. Especially in 2021, they played quite well. In 2019, they played quite well. So I fancy them and DR Congo to be the dark horses for this one. But of course, the dark horses you can predict. You can only know the dark horse once the tournament begins. To go and get too quelly. You can only know the dark horse once the tournament begins. So, yeah, man. But for me, as of now, I would go with the DR Congo and Mali being the dark horses. The favorites to win it for me are Nigeria and Morocco. And I would beat Nigeria to beat Morocco to win it. But Morocco, they have so much experience after what they did in the World Cup. Oh, my God. But yeah, nitakufa na Nigeria yangu. I'll kufa with my Nigeria. So yeah, Nigeria to win the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, and they will beat Morocco in the finals. What are your predictions? First of all, which team are you supporting? And then, who do you think will be the eventual champion in the Afcon 2023 tournament?